An education that goes beyond what is simply taught in classrooms. An education that goes to the very heart of investing in the next generation of civic leaders to bring hope and opportunity to the most vulnerable and help them play a fuller, more active and engaged role in the wider communities. It is particularly inspiring, I think, today to see the strong commitment that has been made by some young activists, civic leaders, to bring hope and opportunity to the most vulnerable. In the case of Lebanon and some of the surrounding countries, it's an issue that takes on an added sense of urgency, I think you'd agree. And this is where I think Teach For Lebanon can play a crucial role, albeit a still limited one. To have a significant impact, we'll be looking at what kind of partnerships an NGO like this can have with other international players and stakeholders. What are the initiatives that work, and how leadership skills can be built among the youth of Lebanon and other countries as well.
Thinking, if the only way I could get a better future, or basically build a better career for myself, is moving abroad, then what about those who are leaving behind? So I was just thinking about the underprivileged youth in Lebanon, underprivileged students, especially with the Syrian crisis at the time. So I've actually just marked 5 years since I was last in the United States. I believe that I was someone who had the capacities and skills and motivation to bring change. And if all these people are moving abroad and have no hope for our country, who is going to believe in Lebanon? Who is going to believe that we can change? And how can we bring change to ourselves? But there's so much potential in Lebanon, but such a limited capacity and opportunities for now.
Young children is where we need to begin, whether it's in Lebanon or here in the United States. The issue of who children are is children are children, wherever they're from, and we need to give them opportunities to understand what it means to be part of a community, to take care of each other, to experience what it means to be respectful, to develop a sense of self-respect, to trust the adults around them. You worked so hard to connect with those children. You said the children began to believe in themselves because of what you were able to do with them.
One of the most impressive things that I learned about TFL is how committed the alumni are, and they continue to be engaged and continue to launch their own projects, and these are aspects of that program that make it incredibly sustainable, and then that heightens that impact.
Operates unlike any other nonprofit organization I've ever been a part of or ever experienced, in the sense that they truly, really do understand the power of community, the power of connecting, and the power of the public-private partnerships. And so they're not just a nonprofit that raises monies from foundations or from the government. They do really have at their core part of their mission being able to build a movement.
What we're all talking about is democratization and education, and sort of what are the aspects of that that are really meaningful. So when you talk about democratizing, who's been left out? Exactly. You have to focus on that. Why has that been the case? Education, basic education that TFL does, Teach For America does, critical, absolutely.
As a member of the Lebanese community who's lived here and worked here for about 30 years, I believe, what does an organization like Teach For Lebanon represent for you And to what extent do you feel that there's enough focus in our country, in Lebanon, on the issue of civic engagement?
That's a good question. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very pleased to share the spotlight with these panelists. Wonderful. And Dalia, your experience has humbled me, so I really respect what you have done.